So you know that moment when your husband walks through the door at the end of the day and he looks around and says, "What did you do all day?" Or maybe your husband doesn't actually say it, but the look says it all. You have been running around like a chicken with your head cut off all day long. But when you stop and think about it, it really doesn't feel like you've gotten that much done. Today I will show you a few simple shifts that help me completely escape this guilt spiral. Hi, I'm Krista, and I'm here to help Christian moms move from overwhelming chaos to peaceful productivity. If that sounds like something you need, subscribe to my channel for weekly videos just like this one. So you're here watching this video because you feel lazy, unproductive, overwhelmed, or just lost in your current role as homemaker or mom. Am I right? Now, we are all different. Our lives look very different in many ways, and we all have different stressors in our lives. But today I'm going to ask you a few very important questions, and all I ask is that you are open and transparent with yourself when it comes to the answers. And once we know the answers, we can find solutions that you're needing for today. So let's dive into that first question. Which is the hardest by far? The first question is, are you actually lazy? For 99.9% of homemakers, I doubt that you are. But that's still an important question to ask, because if you are actually lazy, that would be the first thing to address. But even with that being said, maybe you're not lazy, but is your goal Proverbs 31 and Christ? If you dive into God's Word and read Proverbs 31, 10 through 31, I believe that is an example of a stay-at-home mom, and I believe God is laying out what a truly productive stay-at-home wife and mom can be. And I believe that is presented to us as a realistic achievement in our life here on earth. Now, of course, above and beyond that, Christ is to be our ultimate example of what we are to strive for. And no, I do not believe being truly perfect or Christ-like is achievable on earth, but it still should be a goal set before us on a daily basis. If those examples are being set before you on a daily basis, and you do indeed have room to improve in your diligence in homemaking, which we all have room to improve, so yes, then you will start seeing major advances in how you spend your moments and how you spend your free time, in what you are prioritizing throughout your day. Because you're no longer comparing yourself to moms around you. You're comparing yourself to what God has placed before us as our example. And I tell you what, I feel like a very productive person until I look at the Proverbs 31 woman. And then I see I have massive room for improvement. So my biggest tips here would be, first, dig into God's Word. Then secondly, to pray. If we are daily in prayer, in the moments we feel like we can't do more, He will give us the wisdom and strength to do that. Now, before we go on to the next question, I would love for you to take a minute to comment down below what your thoughts are on the Proverbs 31 wife. Do you feel like God put that there as an example for us to achieve here on earth? Or was it more of a hypothetical, lofty goal that no one was actually meant to achieve? So you ready for the next question? All right, it is, are you productive? And I see a significant difference between diligence and productivity. Diligence is showing that you are working. You're giving it your best. You are not being a couch potato. You are not just sitting around scrolling all day. You are using your moments to the best of your ability, and you are working your tail off. But truly productive is not measuring your heart effort. It is measuring what is accomplished by the end of the day. So if your home is utter chaos throughout the day, Or you are, as we talked about at the beginning, arriving at the end of the day and it's like a bomb went off in your home and dinner's always behind and the kids are running around crazy and just life is just out of control. If you are always overwhelmed and behind, but you are working your tail off, then I would say productivity is the area that needs work. Productivity and efficiency. And that's my realm, y'all. That's my sweet spot right there. I love talking about productivity and efficiency in the home. And I will say this, you might be an exception, but the vast majority of the time, the number one reason that a mother is experiencing lack of productivity and an influx of overwhelm is because her family is her opponent in many vital ways. Now that sounds harsh, but think about it. What are some of the things you're striving to do during the day? Maybe it's cook good food for your family, picking up a massive amount of toys and clutter, keeping your home clean, getting your family, your kids to appointments in different locations that they need to be on time, spending quality time with your husband. Okay, so now think about what are some big things that stand in the way of you accomplishing those goals. Your kids won't let you focus while you are trying to make a homemade meal for your family. Every time you finish picking up a room, you walk into the one that you picked up before, and it's like a tornado went through because your kids got everything back out again. You're trying to get your kids out the door to an appointment, but you can't get them wrangled up. You can't get all of the shoes on. You can't get the house in the state that you want to leave it. You have one child who only has one shoe of every kind. And so he ends up going to the appointment in a flip-flop and a tennis shoe. What's standing in the way of our productivity and causing our overwhelm is not our family. It's the fact that our family is not on our team. Now, yes, they love you and they want to be with you and support you, and heart-wise, they're on your team. In day in and day out life, though, they're working the opposition. That's the hard truth of it. So I'm going to insert a video here of our average morning routine. So this is going to be specifically the kids' morning routine. So I'm going in to wake the kids up, get everyone started. First, Daniel is going to take his shower. Ta-da! I'm going to get the babies dressed. Charlie before, Charlie after. While I'm getting the babies dressed, Heidi is going to pick up the girls' room. So this is the prior mess. Once Rosie gets a little bit older, she will also be helping Heidi with this task, but Heidi does such a good job of picking up this mess all by herself. And this closet usually is a big task, and thankfully it is mainly Heidi that makes this mess, and she's the one that cleans it up. But this is the game shelf, and she enjoys pulling down several games in the morning. We've talked about how if you pick up before you bring out more, it can help, but either way, whether she picks up as she goes or she picks up at the end, that is her call. She also will make her bed during this time. I have a separate video demonstrating how both kids will make their beds. And then while she's picking up her room is when I'm getting the babies changed, and Charlie is picking up the boys' room. Charlie's getting older, and so he is able to split the tasks with Daniel a lot more.
So he does this while Daniel is taking a shower. And he does a great job. He still is at the age that I monitor him, although I think he is reaching the end of that. But he has definitely grown in learning to be consistent and productive in his work. Now Heidi takes the girls' dirty clothes and puts them in the wash. And Charlie takes the boys' dirty clothes and puts them in the wash. Now Daniel's out of the shower and it's Heidi's turn. So while she's taking a shower, Daniel makes the boys' bed. I am beginning to get Charlie to make his own bed, but he's still in the very early process of that, so it didn't seem like it was going to be a good demonstration. And the boys' room is all picked up. Good job, y'all. Now it's time for the older kids to fold their clothes. I have already folded my clothes and the baby's clothes and put them away as part of my routine. So the older kids turn their clothes right side out and put them in the correct drawers. And fold the rags and put them away. While they're folding and doing weekly chores is when I would be making breakfast. Now they're doing garbages, which they do on a daily basis. Now they have weekly chores that they do. They do one weekly chore a day. They do wipe down the bathroom counter every day, but this is also an example of their weekly chore of cleaning the bathroom. They'll do the counter and the toilet. Another weekly chore that they do that's not included in this is washing their linens, just because it is just taking the sheets and blankets off their bed and putting them in the wash. But so one is the bathroom, one is linens, and then we'll keep going through the rest of their weekly chores, which obviously they just do one per day, but I wanted to show you all of them to give you an idea. Another one is dusting. One of them does bedrooms, one of them does main living areas. Another one is clearing out the toy box. And the last one is doing a keep and check with mommy. So we tackled the school closet. Looks much better. Now they've finished their morning chores, and I had breakfast ready by the time they were done. So it is breakfast time. Good job, y'all. One other thing they do right after breakfast is they clear the table, and then they clean the table and sweep up the floor. What a productive morning.
Can you see how my family, my kids during the day, are working with me? We are making headway together so that as we're moving through our day, we are being productive. Now the question is, do you want to learn how to do that? Because I would love to show you. I have put together a comprehensive club called the Overwhelmed Mommy Club, which includes a full course walking through step by step how to get from overwhelmed chaos to peaceful productivity in your home. Also includes video demonstrations of my kids doing chores, of multiple different routines in our home, everything you could need to really be able to visualize how to implement it. Then there's also a community, a growing community of like-minded moms who are struggling in similar areas to you and are walking this path together. And then also I post a monthly private podcast, deep diving into a topic and then also doing a Q&A. And all of that for $17 a month. So if that is interesting to you, click the link below for the Overwhelmed Mommy Club. All right, one more question. You ready? Are you peaceful and joyful? And this is a tough question too, because we feel like that kind of is separate from are you productive? But to do the same daily grind every day for years on end, and to involve your kids, your team, in doing that daily grind with you, in order to continue with that level of productivity and efficiency and drive, it has to go back to the heart. If we are not finding joy and peace in where God has us, if we are not seeing how amazing this role is and how treasured every moment needs to be, then the daily grind will very, very quickly burn us out. And another tough thing, inspiring but tough, moms most often determine the mindset and attitude throughout the home. Very rarely is anyone in a home happier or more motivated or more peaceful than mom, because mom is leading that emotional charge. So if we are not finding joy and peace, neither is our family. And I have a resource for this as well. One that has been a game changer for me. Of course, God's Word. Best resource for finding joy. But after spending some good time in God's Word, I would encourage you to check out Read Aloud Revival. I have no ties to them. I have a membership, but I'm not going to be making any money from suggesting them. I'm just legitimately saying it's been amazing. There's a podcast. Sarah McKenzie's written several books. And she does, if you become a member, there's a free podcast and book lists and stuff like that. But if you become a member, there's a members only podcast that every week she does one, and the goal of it is to teach moms joy and peace, and to just be that reminder of how treasured our role is, and how we can take tangible steps to make our home and homeschool happy and joyful place to be. And bookish, very bookish. And I love that too. It is, if you are reading aloud to your kids on a daily basis and creating those memories together, it is very hard to still be down and still be burnt out, because sitting and reading aloud is so relaxing and calming and cozy. But it's so good at building memories and relationships and joy. So Read Aloud Revival, also linked below. I would strongly suggest it. All right, so to wrap up, step 1 is to get into God's Word daily. That's going to be convicting you if you are being lazy. That's going to be giving you wisdom and strength to tackle productivity, and that is going to be revolutionizing your heart. Step 2, click on the link below for my free 5-day challenge to turn whatever your laundry system looks like right now into less than 15 minutes a day. And just think, how much more in control would your life seem if you were done with your laundry by breakfast time? Sign up today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.